This is a Saturday morning TV log from Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. Welcome to another Saturday morning TV log, and this time around it's Toxic Crusaders, brought to us by Murakami-Wolf-Swensen, Sachs Family Entertainment, and Troma Incorporated. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. I'm the Big D, and this is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So this week's Saturday Morning TV log is on another underrated animated series, and loosely based off of an R-rated film franchise. It's Toxic Crusaders, loosely based on the Toxic Avenger films. It started in 1984, and more recently got a remake not so long ago. It features Toxie, the lead character of the films, leading a group of misfit superheroes who combat pollution. Of course, this followed the trend of environmentally considerate animated series and comics at the time, including Captain Planet, Swamp Thing, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures. Given the fact that the series was actually produced by Murakami-Wolf-Swensen, of course, that would later be Fred Wolf Films, the studio behind the actual Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated series, as well as an animated series based off an R-rated property, which more recently came off the heels of even the original Police Academy, as well as the Rambo films and RoboCop. As this incarnation was aimed at children, the series is considerably tamer than the films it was based on, although it contained adult-oriented jokes that would go over most children's heads. The series premiered in syndication in January of 1991. Now, with some episodes airing as a trial run in the summer of the previous year. Let's see now. Now, of course, the series was created by New York-based Troma Incorporated, which, of course, they were well known for giving us other flicks aside from the Toxic Avenger, like Chopper Chicks in Zombie Town, The Class of Nukem High, and Sergeant Kabuki Man NYPD. Of course, the series was significantly different from its live-action source material. Now, of course, the series starred Melvin Junko, who, of course, was a scrawny nerd who, after being exposed to toxic waste, was mutated into a hideously deformed creature of superhuman size and strength. And he took his revenge on industrial America by means of gory violence and bloodbaths. Of course, that was, of course, the Toxic Avenger. Now, of course, in this series, however, Toxie is a grotesque mutant endowed with superhuman powers, but is still a good-hearted and law-abiding citizen of the fictional town of Tromaville in New Jersey, the setting of most of Troma Entertainment's films. In change for the films, the toxic waste mutated his mop into a sentient being that sometimes battles enemies by itself or gives him ideas on how to solve problems. The main antagonist of the series is Dr. Kilimov. He's also aided with others, including Tsar Sosta and Psycho. They are who join Kilimov as they are polluters from the planet of Smogula, who wreak ecological havoc with help from Tromaville's corrupt mayor, Grody. Bonehead, a street punk who bullied Melvin in the first episode, soon becomes a grotesque monster in the first episode. Kilimov and Tsar Sosta are cockroach-like extraterrestrials. A world from Smogula, a world where pollution is natural as fresh air and water is to Earth. Natives of Smogula thrive on pollution and need it to survive. For unexplained reasons, Zarzosta and other Smogulans are able to withstand Earth's atmosphere without problems, while Kilimov, Dr. Kilimov, as he wants to be called, wears a breathing apparatus to survive. Dr. Kilimov, like most villains, has a seemingly endless army of foot soldiers called Radiation Rangers. Other villains and heroes appear, with most being one off characters. The series was short lived though, it only ran for an overall total of 13 episodes and it ended on May 20th, 1991. And after that, the show was never seen again. It did later get aired on the YTV network in Canada. But years later, the first two episodes got to be shown on the G4 network in July of 2009, which of course was the year when the Toxic Avenger film celebrated its 25th anniversary. Anyway, each week, Toxie and his companions take on Dr. Killmoff and his goons and Radiation Rangers. Yeah, I gotta say, it's really funny and what have you. Now, I've only seen a little bit of this episode on of the series on YouTube, but soon, when I decided to talk about the show, I decided to give the show a second chance. And that's what I did. I have seen all of the series, and let me tell you, it is absolutely funny. I mean, you'd have a lot of fun with this, just like what you would have with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series. So anyway, I think you would enjoy this series if you're into the Toxic Avenger. But if you want to see me in a clean way, then I'd say you should still go for it. It's pretty good. Now then, now for our main characters, we have Toxie, voiced by Roger Bumpus, who this was still long before he voiced a certain Squidward Tentacles for SpongeBob. And of course, he was originally Melvin Junko, a meek and quirky janitor who worked at a health club, who was often toyed with by Bimbette and her friends. When they played a trick on him, which involved him wearing a tutu, he ran in embarrassment and ended up stumbling into a drum filled with toxic waste. Instead of killing him, transformed into a grotesque green-skinned mutant with athletic attributes. And of course, his weapon of choice is a superpowered mop, which he calls Mop, which gains sentience after being exposed to toxic chemicals. The other members of the group are No Zone, voiced by Paul Ittig, originally a test pilot who, after flying through a hole in the ozone layer and crashing into a silo of radioactive pepper, gained the appearance of a blue-skinned humanoid with a wheel for a right foot. He has the power to emit powerful sneezes from his enormous nose. Now, as a kid, I actually had the action figure of that, and Toxie as well. Next, we have Major Disaster, voiced by Ed Gilbert, who, of course, was well known for voicing characters on Captain Planet, as well as Brave Star and other series that came out before this. He was originally a military soldier who gained the ability to control plants after falling into a radioactive swamp. Then there's Headbanger, a fusion of two opposing personalities into a two-headed body made up of Dr. Bender, voiced by Hal Rail, a cantankerous mad scientist for the right half, and Fender, voiced by John Mariano, a surfer-like singing telegram boy for the left half. The Fender part was responsible for the accident that caused them to fall into the Am Smasher and merge into one body, but Fender mutated into a green creature akin to Toxie, but Fender retained his human appearance. Headbanger originally worked with Dr. Killmoff in a plot to put chemicals in the fast food chain's food, but defected to Toxic side after seeing girls preferred the Toxic Crusaders. And then we have Junkyard, voiced by Greg Berger, who of course voiced Baby Scooter in Muppet Babies and was also recently a substitute voice actor for Donatello in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He was a humanoid dog who was formed from a junkyard dog and a homeless man. When they took shelter in Junkyard's kennel, which was covered in toxic waste, lightning struck it and merged them into one being. He joined the group after helping them fight Dr. Killmoff's forces when he disguised Island City as a resort. Now, for the villains, we have Patrick Zimmerman voicing Czar Zulster. Of course, he of course was well known for voicing Revolver Ocelot in the English language version of the Metal Gear series. He had recently voiced Elroy Jetson in Jetsons the movie, since Dawes Butler had passed away. He recently lent his voice to other shows, including the Pound Puppies, Popeye and Son, as well as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as well. And he was also voicing Tyke, half of Spike and Tyke, on the Tom and Jerry Kids show as well. Yeah, this character's really, yeah, one of the primary villains. Roger Bumpus also voices Dr. Killmoff, and believe me, this guy is, wow. I mean, two recurring gags involving the character are that he always corrects someone when they refer to him as Killmoff by shouting, "That's Dr. Killmoff!" And that he never listens to Psycho's predictions despite the fact they could help him succeed. Which reminds me, Psycho is voiced by Michael J. Pollard, who actually played Herman in Sleepaway Camp 3, Teenage Wasteland. And he also recently played Mr. Mxyzptlk on Superboy. He's a sardonic, obese, biomechanical humanoid. The reoccurring gag in each episode he appears in involves his ability to poke holes in the logic of Dr. Killmoff's plans and accurately predicting how they will fail and what have you. Bonehead is voiced by Hal Rail, who I mentioned is actually based on Bozo from the first Toxic Avenger film, as a matter of fact. Mayor Max Grody, voiced by Chuck McCann, who's done numerous shows. The corrupt mayor of Tromaville. He's based on Mayor Pierre Belgoody from the Toxic Avenger, while his secretary Mona is voiced by Susan Blue, who of course at that time was a voice director for TMNT, as well as recently lent her voice to the original Transformers and Brave Star and the Filmation Ghostbusters series. She also played Tina's mother in Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. There's also other characters, including Poluto, a living oil slick monster who's appeared twice, and General Garbage, a Smogulan general who appears in one episode, The Invasion of the Biddy Snatchers. There's lots of other characters and what have you, including Mrs. Junko, that's Toxie's mother, who's always referred to as Toxie's mother, voiced by Susan Sillo, who voiced Sue in Hanna-Barbera's Pac-Man cartoon, and appear in lots of other shows. Of course, she talks in a Brooklyn accent for the character. And then we have Blobby, Toxie's pet, which resembles a blob of goo. And finally, there's Toxie's girlfriend, Yvonne. Of course, it's based off of Toxic girlfriend, Claire, from the second and third Toxic Avenger films, which I haven't seen them, though, but I have seen the first film, though. And of course, she's voiced by Kat Susi, who at the time was voicing Linka in Captain Planet. And she also was voicing Phil and Lil on Rugrats. And she did lots of other cartoons. And she talks in a Bronx accent. She often plays the accordion and sings soprano in a high pitch, high enough to break things. But Toxie is too polite to criticize her about it. One time, the show broke the fourth wall as Yvonne's singing causes the viewer's TV to break in the form of animated broken glass. In the end, Toxie apologizes to the viewer and tells them the Toxic Crusaders will buy him new TV sets. Anyway, there's lots of other characters. So overall, I feel like this should have went on. This show was pretty fun. Anyway, now Jack Mendelson, who also worked on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and other cartoons, who wrote or co-wrote, well, actually co-wrote some of the episodes, was the story editor. During its time, there was an 8-issue comic book series by Marvel Comics, and in the UK by Fleetway, which had 10 issues. There would be numerous video games released by Bandai for the NES and Game Boy, as well as Sega for the Sega Genesis. Now, there was to be a Super Nintendo version around the same time, but was canceled for unknown reasons. However, for very soon, there's actually going to be a brand new game coming up later on this December by Retroware. Anyway, years later, Troma released two Toxic Crusaders DVDs. And the first was Toxic Crusaders the movie, which consisted of the first 3 episodes of the series spliced together to form one story, similar to what Filmation had recently done with She-Ra Princess of Power's 5 episodes to create The Secret of the Sword. The second one was the Toxic Crusaders Volume 1 with the first 4 episodes. Later on, a box set featuring all 13 episodes and the 4 Toxic Avenger movies was released on April 29, 2008. Last December, a Blu-ray was released, which had a new introduction by a live-action Toxie and Dr. Killamov. And Troma was in talks to make a live-action version of the series at New Line Cinema, who had recently done the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles films, but unfortunately, yeah, they just kind of turned it down. And soon Troma sued the company and was awarded an undisclosed amount in damages because, well, according to Lloyd Kaufman in his first book, All I Need to Know About Filmmaking, I Learned from the Toxic Avenger, he claims that New Line did not live up to the contract and the film was not made. And had speculated that New Line bought the rights because they were in negotiations to make the sequels to the Ninja Turtles movie and wanted to use the Toxic Crusaders movie as leverage against the owners of the rights to the Turtles. And there was lots of other stuff, including coloring books, junior novels, Halloween costumes, color forms, trading cards, board game, card game, puzzles. There was also a series of toys created by Playmates Toys. As I mentioned already, I had the Toxie and Ozone figures. Of course, Playmates was well known for giving us the TMNT figures. Yes, and each of them had a lot of things. And of course, I still remember its tagline from the TV commercials: "Toxic Crusaders, they're gross, but they still get girls." Yeah, I love that. That was one of the best lines and what have you. Whew. Actually, now there were numerous things. Action figures come from Toxic Crusaders. Anyway, now the series is out on DVD. I think you can find it for a reasonable price, but good luck though. But I did find out there are ways to see the series. You can find the series on YouTube. You can also find it on Prime Video and Tubi. You might be able to find it on other services. Just look real hard. Please stand by. Here's a look at some actual artwork of the characters you'll see, including Yvonne. And here's a shot of Dr. Killamov, along with Psycho and Bonehead. So again, as I've said, it may not have lasted as long as the other environmental heroic toons like Captain Planet or even Widget, the World Watcher, which I also have not seen much of. I'm going to say the Toxic Crusaders, I feel like it's very underrated. This should have went on for a little longer. What do you think? I'm sure someone, and I know who it could be, would agree. Mm-hmm. But anyway, again, as I said, you can probably find the complete series for a reasonable price. But if you can't, just look it up on YouTube, or again, all episodes should be there on YouTube, but they're also all available on Prime Video and Tubi, which they also have the Toxic Crusaders the movie as well. So, what did you think of Toxic Crusaders? Did you ever catch this show? I didn't really get to see it because our Fox channel was kind of new at the time. That was the only thing that aired a lot of syndicated stuff, but I rarely remembered if they aired it. But anyway, tell me what you thought about the Toxic Crusaders series, and I'll try and talk about the Toxic Avenger films later on down the road. And I know I'm overdue to do those. Leave a comment what you thought about the Toxic Crusaders cartoon in the comment section. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel, and you know the rest. Now, there will be another video coming up tonight. I kind of had decided, I was thinking of doing American Gladiators for World of Game Shows, but I'm going to put it on hold. But I've got something else I had completely failed to put on there. It'll be another Do You Remember. You're going to get another Do You Remember before you get the final part of the UPN Kids bit, where I'll be talking about the short-lived 80s series Auto Man. So be on the lookout for that. So if you like this, check out these other Saturday Morning TV logs. In the upper left-hand corner is the Saturday Morning TV log on the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Excuse me, Turtles. And the upper right hand corner is the Saturday Morning TV log on Captain Planet and the Planeteers. Or if you'd like another show with freaky, creepy heroes, check out the Saturday Morning TV log on Creepy Crawlers in the bottom left hand corner. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe if you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., as well as the Saturday Morning TV log. Then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching, and next week's Saturday Morning TV log is the animated series of Alf. So until next time, I'm the Big D saying see ya.